Reports are stating that Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou has two priority signings in this summer transfer window after the Kulusevski deal. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Now, let's start with a report from today's Daily Express. They are stating that Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou reportedly has two priority signings this summer after taking the helm in North London earlier this month. Spurs are set for a busy transfer window after announcing the permanent signing of Kulusevski from Juventus on Saturday night. In this report, it says that Ange Postecoglou was appointed Spurs head coach following a successful two-year spell with Celtic, where he led the club to back-to-back Scottish Premiership and Scottish League Cup trophies, as well as the Scottish Cup. And according to Football.London, Postecoglou's preferred 4-3-3 system will require Tottenham to make a string of changes to their squad. And the Australians' two priorities are said to be a new attacking midfielder to play centrally, as well as a winger who can operate out wide and provide depth for the likes of Heung-min Son, Richarlison and Kulusevski. Postecoglou has a habit of employing a number 6 who can pick up the ball from defenders and spray passes around the pitch, alongside two number 8 type players who can be used as box-to-box midfielders. He also regularly changes his formation to a 4-2-3-1 and is therefore looking for players who can offer the versatility to suit both systems. The 57-year-old thinks that James Maddison is one player who can excel in a variety of roles, and this is the reason he is pursuing the Leicester man this summer. Spurs are set to be eyeing up Bristol City youngster Alex Scott for the number 8 role as well, while Postecoglou could also convert Kulusevski to play in the position after sanctioning the Sweden international's transfer at the weekend. Postecoglou also wants to get his hands on a young winger to complement his team's experienced attacking stars, and Spurs will therefore go after someone who can beat a man with pace or skill, be strong in transitional phases of play and be able to press high to regain possession. Also in this report from the Daily Express today, it says that Tottenham will be looking for a much more improved campaign next time around, following a disastrous season under Antonio Conte, Christian Stellini and Ryan Mason. Spurs lost just 2 of their first 11 Premier League matches last season and appeared to be in the title race at one point, but the wheels came off either side of the World Cup as Spurs fell down the table. Antonio Conte left the club at the end of March, with Stellini lasting less than a month at the helm, and Spurs' form didn't improve under Ryan Mason as they ultimately finished the season 11 points adrift of Champions League qualification in 8th position. Now, in the last 24 hours, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club confirmed that our under-21s will return to Enfield Town for the traditional pre-season friendly between the sides next month. This year's match will take place on Tuesday, the 18th of July. Kickoff will be 7:30 p.m. at the Queen Elizabeth II Stadium. Enfield Town's home ground is located just a stone's throw away from our training centre and has played host to this popular and well-attended fixture every year since 2018. The club have also stated that tickets will be available at the turnstiles on the night or online in advance via Enfield Town's website. Now, my thoughts on the stories in this episode. Now, let me just start by saying that I am very surprised that we are now only 1 month away from our first pre-season game, which of course takes place in Perth, Australia on the 18th of July against Europa Conference League winners West Ham and of course our London rivals, and we haven't got a director of football in place. Ange Postecoglou will obviously assess the players in his couple of weeks leading up to the game, because of course he starts his job officially on the 1st of July, as does Scott Munn, but no director of football in place as yet. From what I understand, Spurs are still searching. And of course, Postecoglou has got to assess all of the loan players coming back, 11 players in total, lots of players that perhaps he might feel that they're not good enough and he wants to move them on. And the ones, of course, he wants to keep. So there is a lot to do this summer. And I must say, I'm really surprised that we're not being linked with more centre-backs at the moment, because for me, this is an absolute priority. Obviously, a lot of Spurs fans, including myself, are hoping that the David Raya deal gets done with Brentford. But after David Raya's comments that came out yesterday when he was speaking to the Times newspaper, I'm not so sure. Brentford holding out for that 40 million price tag, and it does seem as simple as that. If Manchester United, Chelsea, or indeed Spurs want to sign David Raya, it just seems as simple as paying the £40 million and he will be a Spurs player. Spurs don't want to pay £40 million for a player that is out of contract in just 12 months' time. So he may end up staying at Brentford. I'm hoping that Spurs just get a deal done because, let's face it, Daniel Levy and the ball did a good job in getting the deal done for Kulusevski, getting a discount. They're going to be paying for Kulusevski over a 6-year period. So it's great business for the club. I'm just hoping that they can somehow get a deal done for David Raya, because I believe that he has real quality and I believe that he would be a fantastic addition to the Tottenham Hotspur starting 11. And, talking of players coming in this summer, we have to sign a couple of decent centre-backs this transfer window without any question or doubt. There is so much to do in this window, so many players to go out the door, so many new players to come in the door. But any new players coming in, they've got to improve the starting 11 for me. They've got to improve the squad. I know I say this in every single transfer window, but what's the point otherwise? You've got to be improving year on year after year. And now, of course, we're not playing any European football for next season. The James Maddison one will also be very interesting because Newcastle are interested. Spurs are also interested. There are so many reports coming out saying that Postecoglou has told the board that he wants to sign James Maddison. So that one will be interesting to see if Spurs get that done. But this transfer window, especially now Ange Postecoglou has joined the club, I just feel that these next few weeks we need a couple of statement signings. We need a couple of big signings in to get the excitement going amongst the fans and to give Ange Postecoglou real belief that the club are supporting him. Now, I'm very pleased that Spurs got the deal done for Kulusevski. And of course, we all know as well, I know Richarlison has got a little bit of stick from Spurs fans and other supporters of other clubs. But I believe that Richarlison will come good next season. Kulusevski didn't have a great season this year. But of course, when he signed for us with Bentancur, them two were a big reason why we ended up finishing in the top 4 and playing Champions League the following year. But Basuma as well, I think underperformed. There's so much more to come from him, and I'm sure that he will be a big part of Ange Postecoglou's plans going forward. Eric Dyer is back at Hotspur Way. He was back on Saturday training at Hotspur Way. I'm not sure whether that is to put himself in the shop window or to impress Ange Postecoglou. I think it's probably to impress Ange Postecoglou, but I think I'd be a little bit surprised and probably more disappointed if players like Eric Dyer are still here at the club next season, because I just feel that some of these players 100% have to move on for their own good and for Tottenham's good, because we want to move forward as a football club. Some of these players, without being nasty about certain individual players, they've outstayed their welcome. We've gone through so many different managers with the same players here. It is time for a big shake-up, a big change, and we have to move forward again as a football club, because I know I keep harping on about no European football. It is so huge to the football club. It is so huge, for the fans. I don't like not being in Europe at all. After 13 consecutive years of being in Europe, playing lots of Champions League football, that is exactly where we need to be as a club, back in Europe. And are some of these players good enough to get us back there? I don't believe so. As are, some of the reports saying about Harry Maguire being linked to Tottenham Hotspur. For me, he is nowhere near good enough to get in this Tottenham Hotspur team. The other interesting one is whether we get the Clement Longley deal done. So many reports have come out stating that Spurs and Barcelona are working very hard to get the deal done. Barcelona simply want to get him off their wage bill. And from what I understand, they are willing to accept quite a low fee for the central defender. But, you know, let's face it. If we're talking about Harry Maguire, we're talking about Clement Longley and possibly Eric Dyer staying at the football club. You know, it was only 12 months ago we were talking about Alessandro Bastoni signing for Spurs. That is a sort of player, that is a sort of calibre of player that we should be looking at bringing in this transfer window. And as I keep saying, and as I probably will continue to say, you know, Ange Postecoglou has to be backed. He's got a 4-year deal, which I'm very pleased and delighted about. But we do need to show him that we are backing him as a manager, that we trust him as a manager. And it's all about what he wants. It's all about the players that he wants to bring in and have real confidence in as well. I know this is a transition, but we've got to move forward. I believe immediately and just show this manager that we mean business and show the fans that we mean business as well. Show the fans that we want to compete at the very highest level. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy your week. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on you Spurs.